Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Dream Car Garage, and we're looking at parts, probably about part 3 or 4, can't remember the parts because I'm going to divide this film up, of our FT project. Now let's give you a recap so far. We've introduced the project. Last week we had a really good session at Atkinson Automotives where we, as you've seen, stripped out the interior of the donor car completely down to a shell. We lifted the shell of the car off the chassis, took the engine out, gearbox out, so you have chassis with just a set of wheels attached to it, an engine one place, a gearbox somewhere else, and we have the entire body suspended, ready for the next stage, which is the preparation of the body, making sure the body is structurally perfect in every way. And then we take the chassis off, because the chassis is on its way to get sandblasted. We're going to record that part of the process, and also we're going to start reconditioning the engine as well. But a big part of the FT project is how it looks visually. It's a very visual project. Apart from the fact that we're going to refine the engine and we're going to do some performance modifications, a big part of this is we're going to give it some visual pizzazz, so to speak. So as part of that, I'm going to experiment with a couple of elements. Now, one of the things I wanted to do was to look at the idea of giving this particular model what it looked like with a nice Bentley style grille. Now, there are a number of companies out there. I think I saw a company called Zunsport, and they do bespoke grills, and we're probably going to be paying a visit to them in a month or two. But just to give me an idea, to make sure the kind of grill I'm thinking of is the kind of style I want, I'm going to have a go today at making a front grill. So I've got a donor grill here that I'm going to experiment on. It could all go horribly wrong, we don't know. But what I'm going to do today, using the tools I'll outline, I'm going to cut out this section here, taking the sunlight a bit. I'm going to cut out this section here, and then I've got some chrome strips, which I'm going to use to put around it, and then I've got some mesh, which I'm going to use to put behind it. Now I'll tell you what it looks like. Ultimately, I'm going to take some paint here. Now this is the kind of colour we're looking at for possible colour that the car is going to be in, which is a sort of a gunmetallic grey. So when I'm finished, I'm going to sand this down and then spray this, and hopefully, you know, I've never done this before. Again, we'll see what kind of job I have. Now it's not going to be what we're going to use for the final project, but it should be able to give me a pretty accurate idea as to what a certain style of grille will look like on this. Right, I think that's it. I think I've disconnected all the parts. Make sure I've gone all the way through. Right, here we are. We've cut out all the bits from the inside, all the way around. It's a bit dirty. But there really is something to be said for power tools. If I was doing this with a hacksaw, this would have taken ages. I don't think the job would have been as neat. So we've cut out all the bits, and now we've just got a part there. Now the only thing I'm going to do next is I'm going to sand down these areas here to make sure they're nice and smooth. Then I'm going to wash this thoroughly. The next step, I think I'll probably look to see if I can spray it. So all we're going to do now is, using an old tin of Easy Sand, a liquid sandpaper, I'm just going to cover the whole surface and wipe it off. Which, what it does, it just kind of leaves the surface, I guess, very slightly abrasive. It takes off a little bit of a layer of paint in order to make the other layer adhere to it a little bit better. Now all I'm going to do, using a regular can of spray, I bought this one from Halfords, get from any DIY store, I'm going to spray it all round, then leave it to dry. Here goes. So giving it a first coat, I'm going to come back, maybe sand down a couple of areas and then redo. Now we're doing it outside, so it's not going to be obviously a dust-free environment. It is only an experiment, and obviously out here in the countryside, lots of creatures want to, like that moth, get away, want to fly onto the paintwork. So, you know, it's not a perfect environment, but it should be good enough for us to get an indication of what the job's going to be like. So I'm going to leave this one to dry and then pick this one up a little bit later. Oh, alright, the grille's had its 2 coats now. As you can see, decent job, evenly coated. I mean, again, if I was doing this for the actual thing, I'd take a lot more time and care over it. But this is just a relatively rough bumper I wanted to do this experiment with. What I'm going to do now is give it a coat of lacquer, after which I'm going to cut out some mesh to put behind, add the chrome, and voila, we'll see what we have. So right now, clear lacquer, off we go. I must mention, you probably should wear something over this, I just realised. Right, that's the first coat. It's amazing how even with the application of one coat, obviously there's little bits in it because it's dust in the air, but even so you get the idea. Even with the application, just with the application of the clear lacquer, straight away it starts to really pick up the colour of the paint. You really start to see the flecks coming through with a little bit of reflection, so the lacquer makes a really big difference. I'm going to let this layer dry. I'm going to come back with one more layer, and then next we start looking at putting the actual mesh behind, so that's quite exciting. So I'll be back in a few minutes and we'll finish this job off. Now this is going to sit behind the grill, so the grill should fit within there. So this is our stainless steel. It's quite a high quality piece of mesh actually. It's not cheap up. It's stainless steel, so it's very strong. So we'll cut our piece out now. Oh, not quite sure if you can see me. So now this goes inside the grill we've just prepared. Okay, we placed the mesh at the back, and what I'm going to do now is use a glue gun to try and stick it in place at the ends. Okay, I've glued the back of it now. You can see the glue there. On the reverse side, it doesn't have to really be that pretty. There'll be some overrun on the front. Go over to the other side, but that's not a problem because we just use a craft knife just to take off any residue, and the chrome strip we're going to be putting on will be covering that anyway. And this is what we have roughly. There's a bit of glue there and there. We're going to use a knife to take it off, but this is, so far, it's looking pretty good, and it's quite firmly in place now. So we could get rid of a little excess glue, and then move on to the next stage, which is where we start to put the chrome strip around the circumference, or rather around the outside here. So it's looking pretty nice. And this is the finished product. Chrome surrounding the edge with a polished stainless steel grille. Beautiful job. It's come out much better than I thought it would. This looks $1 million. Beautiful. Hello, welcome to the Dream Car Garage. This is the following day when we started our mesh grill project. Now, just to give you an idea, this was the grill we started off with. Standard Daihatsu grill with plastic inserts with a big Daihatsu badge on it. And step by step, I by way of a recap, I cut out the inside section completely, sanded it down so it was smooth, and then I bought some stainless steel mesh, fitted a mesh behind, and put a chrome ribbing on. Now I've seen it step by step, so this is the finished product, and I think it's pretty stunning by way of a finish. Now we painted this and we glossed it. Now this isn't to the standard I would do for the project, like for our FT project. This isn't the standard we'd use for that. This will, you know, the one we'll have for that is going to be professionally made, cut to fit, all in stainless steel, and it'll be much stronger than this. But this is just to give you a rough idea, visually what it's going to look like. And if I was maybe doing it for a project for myself, I would use this particular technique. So if we're going to hold it up back to the original, just to give you an indication, that's kind of the look there. Move out of the way. Now I think it looks really, really special. So it gives me a good indication of what the final thing is going to look like. Now, the project we're putting together, the FT Sport itself, I mean, this is the model it's based on, although the actual car we're using is with Atkinson Automotive. It's going to be extremely high-end. The quality of the paintwork, obviously nothing like this. The quality of the grille work is going to be much better than what I can produce. But by way of giving you an indication, I'll just flip it over onto the reverse side to see how I've done it. Now, rather than cut the shape to fit flush to the shape of the grille, I've allowed it to go straight past, so I can glue it down the sides to give a better purchase. If I was doing this again, now I've done it the first time, I'd probably cut these sections out as well, and these sections, so the whole grille can go over the entire space, and then glue it right along the perimeter. That would give a much stronger seal. Again, I use flexible chrome strips to go on the outside, and it's worked really well. I mean, I think this is a really good solution. So this is how to make a Bentley grill yourself. That's what I'm going to call this video, how to make a Bentley grill. And we're going to use this on our, we'll see this style grill reappearing again later on as we start to put together the various components for our bespoke four-wheel drive car, the FT Sport that we're producing. So, Dream Car Garage, this is the how to make your own Bentley grill. Now, you know, don't be a hater. This is just giving you a rough idea. Obviously, if I took more time, I could do a better job. If you took more time, I'm sure you could do a great job too. But this is just by way of a quick, rough solution. It gives you an indication of how something could be done, and the fact that it's not that difficult. So, if you want to give your car a little bit of a spruce or give it a little bit of a bling factor, then changing the plastic grill that you may have on yours, put a little bit of stainless steel grill behind it, and this is the result you can get. So, thanks for watching, and remember, don't just dream it, drive it.